Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have some reviews to do. Yeah, so let's get into it. Okay guys, I have some reviews to do on 6 books right here, ladies and gents and non-binary, trans, LGBT plus people. These books by Katee Roberts called the Wicked Villains series. Okay, now this is my second time trying to do this because I tried to do it again first time and it cut my video. I don't know what happened, so bear with me. Okay. Like what I'm talking about is these books are retellings of Disney villains and all that stuff, and it's smut for sake of smut. That's it. It's like 10% of relationship, emotional, romance stuff. Like, the one thing all these characters have in common is that they have something emotional that they need to get over, that they work through and they finally figure it out. But like the other 90% of it is just smut, and I like it. I was here for it. I felt a little called out some of the things, but that's just me though. Okay, now I'm gonna go through how I read them. I didn't read them in order. This one's supposed to be first, Desperate Measures, and I did not know that when I got them, because I heard these books from Becca in the Books, and I watched it, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I got the books, and I started off with A Worthy Opponent, because it's purple, and it's about Hook and Pan and Tinkerbell and whatnot. So 50 pages into it, then I stopped for some reason, and then Sunday or Monday, I picked it back up, and I ended up reading the whole entire series within 4 or 5 days. I just got done with Desperate Measures like 2 hours ago, and I just like, I gotta talk about these. This will be actually my first ever review on here, so that'll be fun, so enjoy it. Okay, A Worthy Opponent, I gave all these 5 stars, so that's it. Overall 5 stars. A Worthy Opponent is Tinkerbell, Pan, and Hook. So Tinkerbell was in a relationship with Peter Pan, and he's an abusive asshole. And she ends up getting out and going to Hades, which that will link Hades and Hercules and Megara, or Meg, into the story. So the underworld is a BDSM club that anybody can go to in this universe. It's a neutral territory, neutral ground, where there's nothing, you're not supposed to fight nothing, and you can act out all kind of things that you want to do, and you got cameras all over you, so if anything happens, you don't get hurt. There's safe words and all that stuff, so it's very big on safe words and consent. Consent is pushed in your head the whole entire series. And well, Tinkerbell's contract ends up ends because she has a 5-year contract with him to keep her safe and away from Pan if she works with him, and she does. She's a submissive. She works as submissive and does all these other things for 5 years. She also has her own little fashion business too, where she makes clothes, and well, her time is coming to an end there, and Hook provides her a place where she can be with him and take down Peter, but she works through the emotional scars that he left on her, and they end up falling in love together, and they end up being together and all that stuff, and do all the kind of dirty deed stuff. So that's great. And the next one I read was Learn My Lesson, because this is number 2. So I thought I'm gonna start off with 3, then go to 2, then go do 3, 4, 5, and then go to number 1 because I got it last night. So this is Learn My Lesson. Now this is the story of Hades, Megara, and Hercules. Now Hades wants to take revenge out on, not Zeus. Is it Zeus? Yes, it's Zeus. I get King Triton and Zeus mixed up. Don't ask me why. But he wants to take out his revenge on Zeus because he got kicked out and all that stuff, and also kill his son and his wife. So he best to do it is to take his son, and Meg seduces him, and they end up working through their own little thing. And what you find out is that Meg and Hades have been together for like 10 years, and they're working through their own kind of thing too, because he's been distant and hasn't really been telling anything. They've been kind of like, but with Hercules coming into the picture, they bring them together, and they end up being a throuple, or a triad, or whatever you want to call it. And they work off their stuff, and he kind of gets his revenge on Zeus, but he's like, I don't care, I have your son anyway, he's mine anyway. But again, a whole bunch of smutty stuff happens up in here, and it's a good old time. And the next one I read after that was The Beast. Now this is Belle, Gaston. It's supposed to be Gaston in the Disney movies, but it's Gaston in here, and The Beast. So what happened was, Belle was in a relationship with both of them. She's dating them both at the same time for her past 2 years, and she couldn't choose which one she wanted. And so, in the events of, and where the opponent, her dad dies. He's called the Man in Black. He actually dies in this book due to unknown reasons, which we find out in here he had cancer. And so with her sister taking over the territory and all that stuff, the Sea Witch, or Sea Witch, oh my god, what's her name? Ursa is kind of pushing her boundaries, kind of testing them a little bit. And the only way to have that not happen is to have Beast and Gaston at her side, because they were generals in her father's regime or whatnot. So she ends up going to both of them, and they end up planning a 2-week deal where they could do anything they want to her and that stuff. And they also work through their emotional stuff. And Gaston and Beast actually made their feelings for each other, because they were like, I actually really wanted you the whole time, but it was easier to hate you. And so they end up like a throuple thing too. So they end up fixing their issues in this book too, which is cool. I enjoyed that very, very much. And after that, you can guess it, I read The Sea Witch. This one is about Ursula and Ariel, what's your name is Ariel, and Eric. I think his name is Eric in the Ariel series, but his name is, what is his name? Alaric. And yeah, so this one, same thing. Ariel is very trapped in her father's, like her father looks after her way too much. Like he very much is overbearing in a way where he just doesn't want her to do anything, kind of looks after her too much. And so she wants to free Alaric, so what she does, she goes to Ursula, and then she ends up being in a little contract thing with the both of them, and then actually fall in love with Ursula, so they end up in a double thing. So that's always fun. And Ursula wants to get revenge on King Triton, because he kicked her out of the territory. Where is that territory called? See, I can't think of what the territory is called, but he kicked her out of that area because, the 13 and whatnot over there. He was just like, no, someone need to be picked, and he wanted to be picked, so he got picked. So he kicked her out, and yeah, screwed her life up real bad. So she wants to get payback on him for that. So, and her dad actually hides a lot of things from Zariel. So she also finds out that he's actually not such a good person after all, and he treats her like more like a child, and doesn't want her to figure things out on her own, which I related to that part. And she actually finally takes a stand saying, this is what I want. And I related to that a little bit more, because I had to make my decision too on whether or not to be with my fiance, because my parents did not quite agree with that situation. So I took a stand, and I just left, because I was like, no, I think I should be old enough to make my decision on who I want to be with, or at least who I want to see if this works out or not. And I don't see why y'all, it's like, you get the point. I related to that part of this book very much, very much. And then after this, I read Queen Takes Rose. Now, this one is about Maleficent and Aurora, but Maleficent's name is Malone, and she's a dominant lesbian. I think she has sex with dudes, but I don't quite remember that. But she actually is the cause of why Aurora's mom dies, because her mom wasn't a very good leader anyway. She was very neglectful, so if anybody else was going to take her out, someone else was going to do it. The way Malone did it was way more merciful, I guess. And so Aurora is 30 at this point when her contract ends up leaving because ends up ending. That's what I'm trying to think. So she ends up figuring that out, and she actually takes her mother off life support. And right at that decision, Malone wants to contract her out, have her for 2 weeks, and do whatever she wants to do with her. And then they end up falling in love together. So they end up working through their emotional issues and all that stuff. Because the one thing about this one and the Sea Witch is that Ursa didn't really let anybody in because she is a leader. She's a woman who's leading a territory, and she's a black woman too, so she has to deal with that. So she has to not let people in as much so she can uphold the power that she has, so no one can take advantage of her and take her out. Same thing with Malone in this book. She never let people in like that because she has to uphold her power and not let it in, so she's not taken out and not see it coming, you know. So, and she's working through that, finally figuring out, oh, I love this girl, she's my person, and all that stuff. And they actually end up working through their own stuff, and they fall in love. So, this book. And finally, the one I should have read first is Desperate Measures. This one is Jafar, Jasmine, and Aladdin, but his name is Ali. Now, Ali, or Aladdin, he's a butthole. Even Jasmine's dad's an asshole. Like, he literally freaking sells her to him, and he's mad. He kept her very, very, very sheltered, to a point where if she went out in the world, she would be very shell-shocked and didn't know what to do. So, but Jafar ends up taking him out and takes over the territory, and they have their own little play where it's consent. It's this is what she says. She always has a little warning in the front of the book, so it's always great. It says, content warning, this book contains depictions of consensual non-consent sex. So he likes like doing the do with her in the middle of a freaking hallway, but she likes it. She's like, yeah, I like it, you know. She ain't really gonna admit it, but yeah. Oh, another thing, she calls him daddy a lot in this book, so if you don't like that, don't read it. So she ends up working through her feelings of feeling trapped, like she's a bird that can't take flight. So in the end, they end up Ali ends up taking her, and she actually ends up killing him. So that's great. And she ends up taking the opportunity to tell the men that was around her, saying, either you can take a knee in front of me and I roll over you guys, or you can just can die like him. And she finally takes up her place where she's supposed to be his heir, her dad's heir, but I guess he didn't see her that way, which sucks, because he just thought, oh, she's just a pretty face, we can work with that. I'm like, no. And Jafar actually ends up following her, so falling in love with her and following her rules. She's queen in her territory, and he's like king of it. So now, I don't know what these books for over the freaking past 5 days had a hold on me, but I gave them all 5 stars because I enjoyed the smut part, and that was it. And also the 10% of the romance and emotional stuff. So if you want to read smut just for smut, read these. Anything and everything happens in these books, besides maybe certain fetish stuff. If you don't want to read that, certain fetish stuff don't happen, like poop or something, you know, or pee. That don't happen. So if you don't worry about that. Just kink and bondage stuff happens, and you can read them if you want to read it. I highly recommend them. So thank you for listening to my whole rant, or my babbling on of these books. I had to talk about them because they were enjoyable for me to read, man. I can't even deny it. They were enjoyable, so I recommend it. So hopefully I'll have a reading vlog for you out of me reading 3 Stephen King books that my fiance picked out. Maybe just 2 for right now because I had a little accident, or not me. The freaking publishing place did with the glue on the book. So yeah, hopefully that'll be out. So I hope you guys enjoy your morning, day, evening, night, wherever you guys are at in the world, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.